About a year ago, I made a video called Call of Duty on PC is not safe. In this video, I went through every single Call of Duty title in the franchise and I talked about which games are safe for you to play, which ones are not, and which ones are really dangerous for you to play on your machine due to remote code execution exploits and people being able to control your computer, send malware, or even break your PC, steal your information, stuff like that. Now, over the past year, there's been a lot of different things that happened with Call of Duty on PC. We've had the Microsoft Store release for the old games. There's a bunch of new clients that have arrived, a bunch of clients that were shut down, and just overall, there's some information in my other video that are just not up to date or that are just wrong. And today I'm here to correct all this, put you all up to date, and let you know which games are safe and which games are not for you to play here in 2025. Now, I'm not going to be rehashing everything I said in the first video. If you want to go into more details and have more information about specific things I'm talking about here, I would suggest that you still watch the first video. Even though some things are not up to date and some things are wrong, at least you'll have a general idea of what's happening with each game in a bit more detail. This is more like a follow-up video where I'm just going to be correcting some things and telling you about new things that were either shut down or other things that happened recently that are making the game safer for you to play. Before we start, I want to do a quick overview of everything I'm going to be talking about here. Let's start with the Microsoft Store releases of the games. There's actually been some new PC releases of pretty much all the older titles of Call of Duty on PC. They've all been released onto the Microsoft Store version. I've made a video recently talking about those versions specifically, so I'm going to put the link in the description. I'm not going to repeat everything here. Basically, what you need to know is the games have been fixed. They were pretty much safe to play on Microsoft Store, except for the fact that nobody plays on those versions and you're never going to be able to find a match with other players. Until the day when those games get on Game Pass, which is probably their goal by releasing those games on Microsoft Store, until that day comes, we're not going to know for sure if the games are 100% safe, and we're not really going to see any player base that is worth buying the games full price for again on Microsoft Store just to play safely. The main clients that you're going to want to be using for those games are called Plutonium, which is for World at War, Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2, and Warfare 3. You can download Plutonium by going to their website. All you need to do is link your game files with the Plutonium launcher and then launch the game through the Plutonium launcher, and you're able to play safely on those games. There's also the WWII client, which works in a very similar way to Plutonium. Just download the WWII client from their website and you can link your game files to those games. WWII supports Modern Warfare 2, the multiplayer portion, Modern Warfare 2, the single player portion, Modern Warfare 3, the single player and Spec Ops portion, Call of Duty Ghosts, and Advanced Warfare. Other things you should know about every single Call of Duty game is that pretty much all of them have exploits that allow others to game crash you, to disconnect you from the server, to not allow you to connect to the servers, which is basically a soft ban that you need another modder to unban you in order to keep playing. Even on consoles, this happens. Even on Black Ops 2, a lot of people get banned from the servers. They have to get unbanned by another hacker. It's kind of a mess, but what we're really looking at here is the remote code execution exploits, where people can basically control your computer by sending code to it through the game. And these are the games that we're going to be looking at the most, and how to prevent this from happening to you or anyone else you care about, how to play safely those games without being attacked. If you're going to be playing any of the old Call of Duty titles on PC, I would still recommend that you use a VPN. This will allow you to spoof your IP address and not allow attackers to keep you into a data log somewhere and join you whenever you go into a public lobby or anything to mess with you. I would also recommend using an RCE program such as Malwarebytes Anti-Exploit, which will close the game whenever it detects an RCE attack being thrown at you. If you're really tech savvy and you really don't want anything happening to your PC and you have quite a modern gaming PC, I would recommend you to use a virtual machine for any of the games you're going to be playing without a client. At least if anything happens to you, you're going to be in a sandbox and nothing is going to creep into your actual machine. With all that out of the way, let's go straight into Call of Duty 1. So for Call of Duty 1, the game has a server browser, which means you're not connecting peer-to-peer connection with other players. That also means that some of the servers are probably not safe for you to join and others are, because each server can download its own files onto your system in order to work correctly on the server. You could call them modded servers, but it's all inside the same official server browser of the vanilla version on Steam. Now, the only servers you're gonna want to join while playing Call of Duty 1 are the servers that are on the client version 1.1. If you're playing on the 1.0, you're putting yourself at risk of exploits being used against you. As far as I know, there's not a lot of servers that are populated on COD 1, so the only one I know about that has players is called Nexus. I'm not sure if you have to do any external downloads or anything in order to play on the server. I think you can just select the server on your server list and it will download everything for you. I think, just in case, I'll put the Nexus server Discord in the description of the video if you guys need to go there in order to download anything in order to play. For Call of Duty United Offensive, it's pretty much the same thing. As long as you're playing on, I believe it's called the version 1.51b, anything below that, you are at risk. If you're playing on servers that are 1.6 or whatever, 1.52, then you are good to go. These servers have been fixed by the community. For Call of Duty 2, again, we have a very similar situation. You use a server browser as the other two, and as long as you join servers that are not 1.3 or earlier, you are good to go. If you're playing on a client version that says it's 1.4 or whatever, you're good to go. Just don't use 1.0, 1.1, 1.2, or 1.3, because these versions are all vulnerable to exploits. And as long as you're using a version made by the community, again, when you join the server, it will download everything you need to fix and you'll be able to play. Moving on to Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare. And this is one of the games that I don't personally keep up with that much, but I've done a lot more research this time around in order to make sure that you guys were well informed about this game, because I received a lot of questions in the comments of my last video. So we're gonna go over it here right now. COD 4 also works with a server browser on PC, the original COD 4 that is. We'll talk about more for Remastered later. For COD 4 on PC, it also uses a server browser, just like the other Call of Duties that we just talked about. And in a very similar situation, as long as you're using a community patch or a community made server on the official server browser, you are good to go. So the version you're gonna get when you buy the game on Steam is gonna be 1.8.13620. Now this patch has exploits. You do not want to play on this version of the game. Now, how do you get the new version? Well, it's really easy. Just like I said, you need to go in the server browser and join the server that has the version that you're looking for. Now, I believe the version that you need in order to play is called COD 4X18, and that's a community patch. If you see a server that has this patch as the game version, you want to click on it. When you join the server, it will ask you if you want to install the patch. It's going to tell you you're going to downgrade your COD 4 to version 1.7 and install the community patch. Just click yes and it will install everything for you straight from the game. Then you just have to relaunch the game and join the server again, and it will let you join. And to be honest, I don't think there's any other servers on the actual official version on Steam that are populated, so I don't think there's a lot of risk for you playing this game, because pretty much all the servers that are available are running the community patch anyways. So it shouldn't be too much of an issue for you to be playing COD 4 on PC. Just make sure you get the community patch and only play on servers that use this patch. Now let's talk about World at War, which is another one that has a server browser, but as opposed to the other Call of Duties that we just talked about, World at War does also feature some peer-to-peer connection in its co-op campaign and also in its zombie component. Now the game does feature a server browser for its multiplayer mode, and as far as I know, World at War doesn't really have any issues. It's pretty much the same as COD 4. If you join a server that has a community patch associated with it, it will download itself when you join the server and you're good to go. Now, for the peer-to-peer portions of the game, we do have a client called Plutonium, and Plutonium is pretty much the saving grace of all the Black Ops games on PC. If you want to play the co-op campaign, if you want to play the zombies component, please just use Plutonium, because with the peer-to-peer connection, I simply don't trust the game to be safe enough for you to be playing those modes publicly. If you want to play vanilla Steam co-op or zombies with your friends, people you trust, then go for it. You know, I don't think there's any ways for randoms to randomly join your match like some of the other games, as far as I'm aware. But just to be safe, I would strongly recommend that you use Plutonium either way. Now for the multiplayer, you can also use Plutonium, but Plutonium will also connect you to Steam servers because they're safe. They have the fix integrated into the server. You'll be able to play with people on Plutonium and also people on Steam. Now let's talk about Modern Warfare 2, which is pretty much the worst Call of Duty when it comes to security. This game has had it all. It had malware, spyware, worms being distributed through it. It had so many issues. It seems that collectively this is the Call of Duty that all the hackers are using in order to, you know, use as their playground in order to attack people. Probably because of the fact that it's one of the most popular Call of Duties. It's one of the cheapest ones for you to buy on Steam, and anyone with nostalgia glasses is going to go back and play this game at least once on their computer at some point. Now, it's hard to keep up with Modern Warfare 2 because there's so many reports of different things. People are saying that, oh, it was fixed in 2023 when Activision shut down the servers for a week, or, oh, it's fixed now because there's a codecleaner.exe they added in the game files that deletes all the viruses after you play. Well, let me give you a little bit of a perspective on all this. The codecleaner.exe that they added to the game only cleans the game files once you close the game. If someone sends you malware through RCE while you're playing, this is going to spread onto your whole computer. It's not just going to stay in your game files, okay? That's just how computers work. If somebody sends code to your PC or download files onto your PC while you're playing, even though codecleaner.exe is going to remove everything from your game files, that doesn't mean that while you're playing, the attacker is not able to move things outside of it. It really is just a band-aid solution that Activision put on the game in order to avoid legal issues, if you ask me. I still strongly believe that Modern Warfare 2 is not safe for you to play on the Steam version on the official servers, and no amount of patching or band-aid fixing is going to change that, and I strongly recommend that you do not play this game. The multiplayer is peer-to-peer. Now, thankfully, there are solutions to this if you still want to play Modern Warfare 2 on your computer without using the official Steam version of the game. There's a client called AltaWare, which is very similar to Plutonium, but for different games. You're able to download AltaWare and use what is called IW4X. This is the client that you can play Modern Warfare 2, the original, safely without any issues. The reason that Plutonium and AltaWare works is because they're using different network infrastructure. It doesn't necessarily fix all the issues in the game engine itself, but think of the servers of the game as some kind of a bridge between an attacker and you. The attacker knows of the exploits and it sends the exploits over to you through the server. If the server allows the attacks to go through, then of course, then the RCE is possible and you are at risk. If the server does not allow these attacks to go through, then he's not able to cross the bridge and attack you. This is pretty much what AltaWare and Plutonium does. It has its own network infrastructure that breaks functionality of the original game, but that they recreate in a different way. That's why these modded servers are never gonna be the same experience as the vanilla versions of the game, but to be honest, it's just not worth the risk. If you want to play Modern Warfare 2, the original, safely, please use IW4X on AltaWare. It's the only way you can play safely as of right now. And while we're talking about Modern Warfare 2, I might as well just talk about Modern Warfare 3 right now, because it's a very similar situation. You do not want to play on the official servers of Modern Warfare 3 for the same reasons of Modern Warfare 2. However, you can play Modern Warfare 3 multiplayer safely on the Plutonium client. I don't believe that you can play Survival or Spec Ops on Plutonium, unfortunately, but AltaWare does have a client that allows you to play the single player and Spec Ops versions of Modern Warfare 3 safely, so I would definitely take a look at AutoWare. It's kind of weird that you need 2 different clients for this game, but it's still worth getting through the trouble of using different clients for different game modes than to use, you know, the vanilla version of Steam. So please, if you're going to be playing Modern Warfare 3, make sure that you download both Plutonium and AutoWare. And I'm also going to talk about Modern Warfare Remastered real quick because it's relevant to Modern Warfare 2 and 3 here. Modern Warfare Remastered on PC, as far as I know, does not have RCE exploits. You should be able to play the multiplayer safely, although you will have some exploits that are able to be done against you, such as getting kicked from the game, having your game crash, having your rank reset, getting thrown into a different map or a different game mode, just stuff like that that every single Call of Duty has, but nothing as bad as RCE as far as I know. If you want to play Modern Warfare Remastered in a safe environment without having to deal with your rank being reset or stuff like that, you can use the H1 mod. It's a client that you download, you put it in your game files, and you're able to play the Modern Warfare Remastered multiplayer safely on the modded client. But also, if you have Modern Warfare Remastered on Steam, you're also able to play a mod called Horizon Modern Warfare. And that mod will allow you to play a remastered version made by the community of Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3 into one big package. This is a modded client that allows you to play all the maps in Modern Warfare 2, all the maps in Modern Warfare 3 with all the weapons and perks, and even from the original Call of Duty 4 as well. Basically the Modern Warfare trilogy, all remastered by the community, all running in the same environment together. And this is really fun. I've actually been playing it quite recently in order to get footage for this video, and I was never a big Modern Warfare fan. As you guys know, I like zombies a bit more, but this is actually really good. And if you're unsure about playing Modern Warfare 2 or Modern Warfare 3 and you just want to play like a safe version that looks better, feels better, plays better, just play Horizon and Modern Warfare. That's the best modded client you can get for the Modern Warfare trilogy, in my opinion. All you need is Modern Warfare Remastered on Steam and you're able to play. Now do be aware that usually clients like this do get cease and desist at some point. Last year we've had H2M mod that was cease and desisted, that was supposed to be Modern Warfare 2 Remastered, which was, from my understanding, repurposed into this Modern Warfare 3 Remastered mod that became a mod of the whole trilogy, as far as I know. So it is possible that a year from now this client is not available for download anymore, and just be cautious. If you're going to be downloading clients that have been cease and desisted, just be aware that it is not the original creators of the clients that will be distributing it, and the risk of malware or spyware or whatever being integrated into those clients by being redistributed by other people than the original creators is pretty high risk. So just make sure, if you're watching this video a while after it's come out, just check to make sure that the client is still active and is still being worked on by the original devs before you download it. Alright, so with the Modern Warfare trilogy out of the way, let's jump into Black Ops 1. Now in my last video I mentioned about how unsafe Black Ops 1 is, and that is still very much the case. I would strongly recommend that you use the Plutonium client in order to play multiplayer or zombies. I know that the multiplayer is server browser based, and a lot of reports are saying that the game is actually safe to play on Steam, but I personally just would not recommend that you play on it, especially when Plutonium is an option. At least you'll know that you're 100% safe playing on the servers. I simply don't trust the server browser of the multiplayer of Black Ops 1 to not have been infested by hackers at this point, and I strongly advise that you use Plutonium. And for zombies, since it's peer-to-peer connection, then 100% you have to use Plutonium if you're going to be playing online. If you're playing zombies on the vanilla version of the game, you are at risk of being attacked by RCE. Now Black Ops 1 does not have a join in progress feature, so you should be able to play some solo zombies by yourself and be fine even if you're connected online, as players cannot necessarily join you while you're in a match. But anytime that you're just chilling in the lobbies, attackers are able to force join your lobby and then send send attacks to you. So I would still recommend that you use Plutonium even if you're going to be playing solo zombies. As for the campaign, I would still recommend that you play the campaign offline, although I don't think there's any big risks associated with playing the campaign while connected to the internet for Black Ops 1. And from my understanding, it's actually possible to play the campaign on Plutonium because of how the infrastructure of zombies and campaign work on this game, but I don't think it's supported by Plutonium, which means you might run into game crashes or soft locks. So I would still recommend that you play the Black Ops 1 campaign on Steam, just play offline. Now for Black Ops 2, this is another one of the games that seem to have the most issues. I know the multiplayer servers are still being taken over by a hacker who has access to the physical files of the server. He's basically put his own anti-cheat into the game, which means that if you're using any aimbots or anything, you will get kicked and banned from the game and not be able to connect back to the servers. The hacker also removed the option for you to vote for maps in between matches for some reason, but overall I just would not recommend that you play Black Ops 2 on the multiplayer of the official Steam vanilla version. It's simply not safe. There's RC exploits, and even though the servers are taken over, it's not like the fixes are there. It's not like the servers are any safer for you to play on. For Black Ops 2, you can use the Plutonium client. It's actually the one that is the most populated on Plutonium, and you should not have any issues finding any matches on Plutonium for Black Ops 2. I would strongly recommend that you play on Plutonium for Black Ops 2 multiplayer. Now, for zombies and campaign, Black Ops 2 is pretty much the same boat as Black Ops 1. It's peer-to-peer connection. You do not want to play online for Black Ops 2 zombies in any way, shape, or form. As I mentioned earlier, Black Ops 2 does have join in progress. If you're playing solo zombies in a private match, someone can join you and attack you. All it takes for these attackers to join your lobby is to know your Steam ID or your IP address. And some of the mod menus that these attackers use can show every single player connected to the server with their IP address associated with it, which means anyone browsing those mod menus and they see you playing solo zombies, they can just force join your lobby and then are able to attack you. Of course, what are the chances of some random guy playing solo zombies on a Wednesday afternoon to be attacked? I understand that perspective, and I know why people say a lot of the times that, oh, if you're not a streamer or a target in some way, you don't really have anything to worry about. But is it really worth the risk to you? All it takes is one time, one person who decides to fuck with you, and he can break your PC or steal your bank information. That's not something to fuck around with lightly, if you ask me, and I would not play solo zombies on Black Ops 2 while being online simply for that risk. It doesn't matter if you're a YouTuber or not or whatever, just don't do it. It's not worth the risk, especially when you have options right there like Plutonium in order to play your solo zombie match in a safe environment. So why not just do that? As for the campaign of Black Ops 2, as long as you're playing offline, there's no issues. I would still not recommend that you play the Black Ops 2 campaign while having your Steam connected to online. I'm not sure if it's actually a big risk, but I just wouldn't risk it because Black Ops 2 is a game with so many exploits, and there's a lot of eyes on it from attackers similar to Modern Warfare 2. I would still recommend that you play it in offline mode. Now let's talk about Call of Duty Ghosts, which from my understanding, according to the CVE website, it has RC exploits that have never been patched. Now there's only like 50 people playing this game at a time. It's not like you're even gonna be able to find a lobby on the official servers anyways, but I would still not recommend for you to even try, because who knows? Like I said, it only takes one guy who wants to fuck with you in order to mess up everything. Same with Extinction or whatever else this game offers that is peer-to-peer. Just play offline if you want to play by yourself. If you want to play with your friends, you can use the AutoWare client, which is the same client that we used for Modern Warfare 2. Just use the AutoWare client. They have servers for Ghosts and you're able to play multiplayer. I'm not sure if AutoWare allows you to play Extinction. It's not really a game that I keep up with or that I really care to. So I'm just gonna let you do your own own research on that, but just know that if you want to play Ghost for some damn reason, then you can play on AutoWare or you can play offline. Now for Advanced Warfare, this is a game that you should be wary about. It's the last Call of Duty game to have RCE exploits that are public, and the game forces you to be online at all times on the PC version. That also includes the campaign. If you're playing the campaign on Advanced Warfare, you have to be connected to online services. The multiplayer is peer-to-peer as well as survival and zombies, and I would not recommend for you to play on the Steam official version of the game. Thankfully, we have AutoWare saving the day once again. If you want to play Advanced Warfare on PC, use the AutoWare client. You're able to play zombies and multiplayer. I'm not sure about survival. I think you might be able to. Again, you'll have to check for yourself as it's not a game that I usually play. I'm not 100% sure about that, but I know that zombies and multiplayer is playable. As for the campaign, I don't believe AutoWare supports the campaign of Advanced Warfare, and since you cannot play offline, I would still recommend that you take some serious precaution before you launch the campaign of Advanced Warfare on your PC. Definitely use a VPN in order to hide your IP address, so that people who use the mod menus that see that you're playing the campaign online, even if they can't necessarily attack you or join your match while you're playing the campaign, they can always log your IP address somewhere and then join you later after you're done playing the campaign. You decide to, I don't know, try out the survival, and then they are able to join you. So just make sure that you use a VPN so that your IP keeps changing. They can't like keep track of you and just wait for the opportunity to join you and mess with you. I would also recommend that you use an anti-exploit such as Malwarebytes anti-exploits. You can use that software and it will close the game when it detects an RCE attack being thrown at you. It's not 100% foolproof, but it's better than not having anything running, in my opinion. If you want to be really extra safe while playing this game, just make sure that you use a virtual machine. It will take a lot of resources off of your PC, so if you don't have a very strong PC, it might not be an option for you. But if you're running a pretty modern build, you should be able to play Advanced Warfare in a virtual machine with no issues, and that way at least you're in a sandbox and nobody can mess with your actual hardware. Now let's jump into Black Ops 3. I still see a lot of misinformation about this game saying that it has remote code execution. It does not anymore. It used to have it, but it was patched by Treyarch officially, and now the game does not have any RCE exploits, at least none that are publicly available. However, the game still has a lot of exploits that people can use to mess with you, which are pretty annoying. Just like Black Ops 2, people can force join your match, they can crash your game, they can reset your rank, they can disconnect you from the server, they can make you force join their lobby if they want to. There's a bunch of different things people can do to troll you and make you mad and allow you to not play the game, but there's nothing that is actually dangerous for you or your information or your PC. As far as I'm aware, all that's been patched. If you want to avoid people messing with you on Black Ops 3, you can still use what is called the T7 patch made by Sirius. If you download this patch, it's basically you launch it before you play the game. When you launch Black Ops 3, it will be running and it will show when you load into the game that you're running the T7 patch. This will allow you to play the game while connected to online services, but also block any remote connection you have to any other players unless you trust them. That's why you need to make sure to put a password on your T7 patch. You can spoof your name so that people can't know it's you, and you can change the password in order for your friends to join you while using the patch as well. This basically makes it so that you're playing in a safe environment of your own. Nobody can join you or mess with you as long as you do not give them the password. So if you're using the T7 patch, make sure that you only play with friends that you trust. Don't play random lobbies or public matches, because the second that you play with someone who is not using the T7 patch, the T7 patch will not block any remote connection anymore. It's like opening the bridge up. As long as you're only playing with players who are also using the patch, then you're good to go and you're all playing in a safe environment that the patch puts you in. But if you let one person join your lobby that does not use the patch, this person opens the door to anyone else to mess with you. But again, it's not like there's risks of RCE or anything anymore, so it's not the end of the world. This unfortunately means that you will not be able to play multiplayer with the T7 patch. This is mostly in order to play the co-op campaign or to play zombies. If you want to play multiplayer, there's a new patch which is an extension of the T7 patch that released recently. It's called CleanOps. You can use CleanOps. It even has a server browser integrated itself, so you won't have to matchmake for 10 minutes in order to find the 2 lobbies that exist. You can just use the server browser and it will put you into the match directly. I'm not exactly sure of all the intricacies of how this works, but from their website what we can see is that it puts an anti-cheat into your files, which means when you're playing on a server and the patch detects that someone else is cheating, it should kick them from your match by itself, which is amazing. It will spoof your IP and your name, which doesn't allow other people to target you. They have a moderation tool, which means any cheater that has been confirmed to be cheating and that are on their database will get kicked from your match immediately if you're using the CleanOps patch. And also something that the T7 patch and CleanOps does as well is it enhances the performance of the game. If you're playing Black Ops 3 Zombies with DLCs, for some reason the menus are just really laggy and the performance is really dodgy at times, the patches fix all that. Whether you're using CleanOps or T7, it will patch it. CleanOps also fixes people being able to crash your game, so you can play the multiplayer without having any risks of people crashing your game or resetting your rank or anything like that. So basically, if you only care about zombies and playing with your friends, use the T7 patch. That's good enough. If you want to play multiplayer, then use CleanOps. You will still be playing on the official servers of the game, but again, there's no RCE exploits or anything like that, and the CleanOps does a good enough job of kicking anyone else that are using any mod menus that are not CleanOps from your matches, and making sure that people are not able to crash your game or send any kind of exploit against you. It also spoofs your IP to make sure that people can't track you, and it allows you to join matches a lot quicker and easier than the official matchmaking that's basically broken for the game. Now, for the remaining Call of Duty games, we have Infinite Warfare, World War II, Black Ops 4. All of these games, as far as I know, they don't have RCE exploits or anything of this kind. They do, however, have exploits such as crashing your game, disconnecting you from server, resetting your rank, you know, all the annoying stuff that the T7 patches for Black Ops 3. As far as I know, there isn't an alternative such as the T7 patch for these games, as there is really not the player base for anyone to be motivated enough to really create one for those games. If you're even lucky enough to find a multiplayer lobby of Infinite Warfare or Black Ops 4, you know, good for you, but there's nothing protecting you from people crashing your game right as you start or anything like that. There's not necessarily any security risks of you playing those games, but it's just not really worth your time and money to get those games and expect to play the multiplayer on PC. You can, however, play the other side modes such as zombies or campaign without really any issues. I would still recommend for you to use a VPN, maybe even an anti-RCE software just to be sure. And if you're feeling really paranoid, then just play those games in a virtual machine. As far as I know, there's no RCE exploits that are publicly known for those games. That doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. Doesn't mean that there isn't a handful of people who know about these exploits and I've just chose not to share it. If you're going to be playing those games, just take a few precautions. Just make sure that if one day someone finds an exploit and for some reason you are the patient zero of that attack, at least you'll have some protection against it. But as far as I know, there's nothing wrong in terms of security risks associated with those games. It's just annoyances that people can mess with you. For those games, if you don't care about multiplayer, then, you know, go right ahead, but it's not worth the purchase if you're looking for multiplayer matches. Same thing with Blackout. It's completely dead on PC. Don't even bother trying to play it. As for Modern Warfare 2019, Black Ops Cold War, and Modern Warfare 2, all these games, as far as I know, are pretty much the same deal. There isn't any security risk associated with them. Cold War did used to have an RCA exploit that was patched, so just be mindful of that because it's using a different engine from the Modern Warfare 2019 MW19, and for some reason that engine still had some remnants of RCE, but it's been fixed since then. That doesn't mean that this game is going to be safe forever, however, and there's a lot of exploits to mess with you, just like Black Ops 3 or all the other ones I mentioned. I'm not sure about the population of those games on Steam or anything, but they do have crossplay, which means you should be able to find match consistently. However, on PC, I'm pretty sure that they don't really have an anti-cheat working for those games anymore. There's a lot of hackers with aimbots and stuff like that. Nothing for you to worry in terms of security. Yeah, I would still recommend that you don't really play those multiplayer because it's kind of dead and it has a lot of hackers that will mess up your lobbies. But if you're really feeling like playing Modern Warfare 2019 for some reason, then you're safe to do so. It's not gonna be that great of an experience, I don't think. And this pretty much concludes the video. We've went through every single Call of Duty game, how you can play them safely, why they're not safe, and now that I've transferred the information, I can only wish that all of you will have the judgment to not play those games on the Steam vanilla versions. And please just spread the words. If you see your friends launching a Call of Duty game that you know is not safe, if you see family members buying Black Ops 2 and trying to get into multiplayer lobbies, please just tell them about the clients and even install them for them if they need to. Just keep your people safe, because this is no joke. People can steal your bank information, your everything that's on your computer. They can break your PC. You know, I've had family members who wanted to play some of the old Call of Duty games on their work laptops, and I just had to step in and make sure that they were safe. So check on your close friends and family members, make sure that they are playing those games safely, because not everyone is aware of those issues. And the fact that my video from a year ago got 300,000 views, which I was never expecting to reach this point, but the fact that it got so many views proves to you that there is a lot of people still who have no idea about any of this. And to make sure that they are protected and kept safe and their information isn't stolen, we have to spread the word. So now I'm leaving the job to you to make sure that you do your part as well, and make sure you protect yourself and the people you care about while playing those games. But anyways, I hope the video was helpful. I hope I was able to put everything up to date and that it was informative enough for you to be able to make the decision to use the clients instead of playing on the official Steam releases of the games. I hope that you've at least learned a thing or two and that it was helpful to you or anyone else that you know. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.